Hi guys, it's Jessica with the Ashland Public Library here in Ohio, bringing you your second greener cleaner. So I know it looks like I have a lot of stuff here today, but it's going to be a lot of fun and easy on your budget. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said in our last video, if you watched our first part of this 3-part course, I'm focusing on a different room in your house. So last time it was the laundry room. Today's going to be geared towards the kitchen. So we're actually going to start off with some dishwashing detergent specifically for your dishwasher at home. So first we're going to do 2 cups of washing soda, and I'm just going to roughly, just like my last video, it's always a rough estimate. It doesn't have to be exact. And if you didn't watch our last video, most of these ingredients, I try to, all the ingredients, get them locally. So the washing soda I got here at the local Walmart. You can find it in the laundry aisle with your other laundry soaps. Usually it's at the bottom where nobody can see. So next we're going to do 1 cup of baking soda. I also got this big bag of baking soda at the local Walmart as well. This one was a little trickier to find. I had never used citric acid before. You can get this at Walmart. If you have the Walmart app, that's what I did. You actually just punch it into the Walmart app and it'll show you what aisle it's down. But I ended up getting a better deal on Amazon. So you can get it locally or online. All right, so now we're going to do a 1/2 cup of this. Okay. I have my nice little wax paper laid down so I don't make a mess of our library here. Next, we are going to do the essential oils. So you can use whatever you'd like, but I want to use like a citrusy kind of smell. So we're going to do 20 drops. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And we'll put a couple more for good measure. The other one that you need is called a purification essential oil. So it was really hard to find. You could have gotten it online. I couldn't find it locally, except for at Planktown Hardware over in Shiloh. Big fan of them. If you watched the first class, you'll know that I bring them up probably every class. But I'm not going to use it today because of a trick that I'm going to give to you here in a little bit. So we're going to just close that up and shake it up just so those essential oils get all the way through every scoop. And the key to this dishwashing detergent is distilled vinegar. So I'm not actually going to put the distilled vinegar inside the container. I use this, I take a cup that I'm going to put in the dishwasher anyway, but I flip it upside so it holds water, and I put I fill probably one of your smaller cups, I fill it half full with vinegar with 2 tablespoons of this in your regular dishwashing compartment, and all my dishes come out clean. And I have hard water, so I really like this stuff, and that smells really good. I'm glad I used the orange. Okay, so our second, I'm melting some beeswax over here because our craft that we're going to do today for the kitchen involves beeswax. So I just gotta stir it up a little. Maybe we'll turn it down. All right. Okay, so our next little recipe here is going to be for a degreaser. So I have my regular spray bottle, and we'll just go ahead and get started. So you can find, I got this at the local Dollar General. They sell these big tubs of both purified water and distilled water. We want the distilled water because if it's not distilled, the other ingredients that we put in here won't last as long. So it's not going to be able to sit in your cupboard forever. So we're going to do 2 cups. And actually, my little water bottle is so little, I'm going to cut the recipe in half. So I'm going to do 1 cup. And just pour it in. I didn't think to grab a funnel. We'll see how good my skills are here. Okay. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon, because I'm cutting the recipe in half, of lemon juice. You can use fresh squeezed. I just didn't want to have to squeeze a lemon here. And we're going to do it over this. Okay. And then we're going to do a half a teaspoon of Castile Soap, or Castile Soap, sorry. So I actually found this by coincidence. I was in a drug mart probably a month ago, and they had these huge bottles of Castile Soap for like really cheap, like $5. Normally these big bottles about this size are around $10. So this one has lavender scent already in it. Usually I try to buy the ones that are unscented. If you go to Walmart, your local Walmart, you'll find it in the beauty section, like the all-natural beauty kind of section of the makeup and stuff like that. You'll find it all the way at the bottom. And they have different scents. They have lavender, I think like maybe almond vanilla, and then your unscented. So because I got such a good deal, I'm just going to use the lavender. And we're going to do 1 teaspoon. I can actually just pour this right in. And you can eyeball it. None of these recipes have to be perfect. If they do, I probably won't do them because I like the easy recipes that don't require, a lot of maintenance. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Okay, and then, now again, I already had a lavender scented Castile soap, so I'm just going to do like 1 to probably like 5 drops of the citrus scented essential oil. If you don't have scented Castile soap, you can go ahead and put 10 drops in. Okay, so I'm going to put my lid on. And we're going to shake it up. And there you go. Degreaser for your kitchen. Okay, and for our third recipe, or our final craft, because like I said in our first video, I'm going to do 2 recipes, and then I'm going to do a nice little green cleaner craft that you can do at home. So I'm really excited to do this because I've been wanting to do them for a really long time. I just never really had a reason to put all the stuff together and actually get down and do them. So I have a little hot pot over here. So I'm melting beeswax and pine resin over here on my hot pot. And basically we're gonna make, it's called a beeswax wrap, and it takes place of like cling wrap. So you're not putting that in the garbage. It's a great sustainable craft to do at home. They last for anywhere, I've read, like 8 to 12 months, depending on how often you use them. And in today's, I did a lot of research on this because I really wanted to inform you guys of, you know, how to do it, what to do that are drying. And then these are the ones that I cut. I love this fabric because my lunchbox for work here is purple, so these are gonna match. I cut them pretty large because like I said, you can replace your cling wrap with these. So what I want to use them for is like when I bring in my sandwiches or my bread, you'll actually be able to wrap them up and fold them and stick them onto the fabric itself. The great thing about this is we'll actually paint the beeswax resin mix and we'll let it dry, and it's food safe. It's all natural and reusable. So you can even, as long as it's not really, really hot water, you can actually just clean these off with cold water and reuse them. So for the ingredients, you'll have beeswax, which I didn't get this one at Plinktown over in Shiloh, but you can get it there. I like the pellets because they melt a lot faster. You can get bricks of beeswax, but you have to shred the beeswax and then melt it. Otherwise, you'll be waiting all day. And you're gonna need pine resin, which I already put in here. And same thing, you can get the pellets or you can get a brick, but you'll have to shred it. It looks basically like your beeswax, it's just a slightly off color. And I've looked up plenty of recipes. You don't have to use the pine resin, but the pine resin is what gives your piece of fabric the sticky feel. And it won't stick to any of your food. It's like tacky, so it'll actually make your fabric stick to each other. And then we're also gonna use, you guys are gonna laugh because I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, so if I say it wrong, you can correct me down below, but it's called jojoba oil, and same section that you find your Castile soap, it's going to be in that like all natural beauty section because it's actually used for a lot of like skincare recipes and just by itself for a moisturizer. So that's going to help spread the beeswax mixture over your fabric. Now, the last thing that I'm going to tell you about making these, just because I want us all to be, you know, food safety, and I want this to work out for you. Your fabric that you have has to be 100% cotton. It won't work with any other fabric. It has to be 100% cotton. So you can go to your local Joann's, or Walmart also has this stuff. You can go to a craft store, any type of fabric store. A lot of places will even make your like quilting squares. They'll sell the quilting squares individually, and you can just buy those squares and use them. You don't even have to cut these. I hand cut these, that's why they're so big. But let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna put this up here for now because I still have to add my jojoba oil. Okay. So I'm actually going to use my other piece of cloth. We'll just set that down. And then I have a, not all my beeswax has melted off, my sponge. So I'm going to use a little, gosh, it's just sticking to it. I'm going to use a sponge brush, and all we're going to do is take our fabric. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to add, so I did 1 cup of beeswax and melted it down in my pellets, and then I did 6 tablespoons of the pine resin, and then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the Distilled Water All right, so we'll just add our 2 tablespoons of jojoba oil. And like I said, that oil is just gonna help spread this beeswax. All right, so I'm gonna move this over a little bit. And we're just gonna paint like we're painting a picture. And you want a nice coating. You don't have to saturate this. You just want a nice thin coat. And you do want to make sure to get all the nooks and crannies, so make sure we're getting all parts of the fabric. And you'll notice when you're applying the mixture that the beeswax pretty much dries as you're spreading it. So it's not going to take a long time to really see like any parts that you missed. Because it goes on kind of clear, but then from there you can kind of see what you've done and what you haven't gotten. And you don't have to use a sponge brush, it's just what we have available here at the library. You can use those little 50-cent brushes that you can find at the hardware store, or I mean, you could use a painting brush. It might take you a little longer, but I tried to find the biggest one that I could just so I wasn't here all day trying to spread this beeswax. Okay, so you'll notice, so I went ahead and I brushed both sides with the beeswax. And you can kind of tell there that it's like not pliable like fabric. And this is what you want. So right now you can do one of 2 things. You can actually use this just like this. But what I did at home is, now that you have it covered, if you just turn your oven on or preheat your oven to 300 degrees, and put these in a pan laid out flat, you can get the fabric hot enough so that the beeswax melts and it does a beautiful little coating so that you can't even tell your brush strokes or anything like that. Or you can use it like this. Obviously, this isn't as pretty as the ones behind me, but either or works. So you'll put it in the oven, you'll let it melt, and then flip it over and let that side melt. And then when you take them out of the oven, you can hang them up and put them on like a little clothesline or hang them up to dry. And then you're good to use. So like I said, you can wash these with cold water, use them to wrap your sandwiches in, or if you have like a small bowl, you can actually just put it right over them and they'll stick. Just like that. So you'll notice if you just give it a little pressure, it's just like plastic wrap. And it'll actually seal right over whatever container that you have it on. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for today's Greener Greener class. I'm Jessica, and don't forget to like the video, comment below, show me what you're doing at home, and thank you again. Have a great day.